Welcome and thanks for tuning in to the Dream is Real podcast. This is the place if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in New York real estate. Before we get started, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. We don't want you to miss an episode because we are bringing you great content with some awesome professionals in and around the real estate space. Today, I am with Olivia Rosario, Esquire of Rosario Law Group PLLC. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you. And thank you for having me. And good morning.
Glad that you are here. So tell us a little bit about you. You are a real estate attorney, a very, very important part of any transaction. Tell us how that you got into the space.
Okay, so I graduated law school a very long time ago, about 25 years ago. But I was a prosecutor first in Brooklyn.
Oh, really?
Yes, so I enjoyed my time there, but it wasn't the right fit for me. Although I had a lot of court time and I was a litigator and I enjoyed that, but it was time to move on. Then I did a series of things. I've done personal injury. I've done criminal defense, divorces, family court, and then
So you ran the gambit, yeah.
anything that would get me to court because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be in court. But then I worked through that, and then I wanted to be in a happy place. And I said, well, what's going to get me there? Certainly not divorce or family court. I said, let me do real estate. Let me concentrate on just real estate. And that's what I started doing about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I've been concentrating just on real estate, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Was there a pivot point where you said, I don't want to do these other areas of practice anymore?
Yes, it was when I was constantly fighting with my husband.
Got it.
Because you're in court and you're fighting, and you bring that home. And I caught myself fighting at home with my kids and with my husband. And I said, I'm so angry, right?
So you just find yourself cross-examining at the kitchen table.
Everything's, well, still, my husband will tell you they still try to cross-examine. But it was, I was getting home angry. I was angry. I was bringing the files home with me. I was thinking about my clients. And I was always angry. And I said, this has to stop. I need to do something, I've always liked to help the community, to help people. And I said, I think this is the best fit for me, real estate.
Awesome. When you see the keys get put in the hands of a homeowner, particularly first-time homeowner, but they're all special. I can totally see that. So you say you love it, and that makes sense. The real estate transaction, although there's a lot of moving parts and it can get complex, I'm sure, and we can delve into that a little bit. But what is it that you love about real estate?
So I like to get the first-time home buyers or any home buyer get to that goal of buying their house. And to me, it gives me a satisfaction just to see someone that was renting get into a house. And I enjoy that. And when I represent the seller's selling to either buy something bigger or to downsize, or they're retiring, they're moving out of state, and I've helped them get there. I'm not the only person, obviously. Everyone else assisted in the process, but I'm glad that I also had a hand in it. And it makes me feel good.
Yeah, owning a home is such a dream for so many.
The American dream.
It is the American dream, and so many think that it's not possible. And that's really what sparked, this conversation, the conversations that we've had with our guests, that the dream is real. And do you feel like it? I'm sorry?
And attainable.
Attainable, right. So what do you think are some of the biggest concerns out there that stop people from getting into, let's say that keep people in a state of perpetual renting?
I think that a lot of misinformation and not knowing, right? So I do a lot of home seminars, first-time home buyers. Seminars. I do quite a few once a month. I go into different areas. I've gone to the Bronx, Yonkers, Nyack. I've gone to Riverhead. I've gone to Montauk. So I go everywhere to try to educate people on how to purchase a home and that it is possible. So I have a lot of people that don't know. They think they need 20%, and they don't. Right? There's a lot of programs. There's a lot of banks that will help you. You can do 3.5. If you don't want to do an FHA, you can do conventional 5%. I mean, there's a lot of programs, and people just don't know. They just listen to what's on TikTok
Sure.
or Instagram, and there are a lot of good information on TikTok, but there's also misinformation.
Right.
So I think that prevents people from moving forward because they don't think that they can do it.
So it's compelling as a real estate attorney. Obviously, you handle a lot of the aspects of the transaction, but even some of the things like the programs and everything out there. Do you find yourself often referring to programs available, or is it more around just spreading the knowledge that these things are available?
So basically, spreading the knowledge because by the time the buyer comes to me, he already has a loan, he already has a loan officer, and he already has an agent. As a matter of fact, they already have the house. They have an accepted offer, and that's when they come to me. And that's why I like to do the seminars so that I can impart my knowledge to people just so that they can know that it can be done.
So the seminars actually give you an opportunity to speak with them
Correct.
before the process
Correct.
starts. And I mean, let's be real. They're going to go with someone that they know, they trust, and gave them good advice right off the bat, right?
Right.
Hi, my name is Tyrone. I'm the owner and trainer here at Fly Fitness. We work with children of all ages, sports-specific training, soccer, basketball, lacrosse, football, you name it, we do it here. We also work with the beginner, the person that has never been in the gym before. We get you from point A, point B, and we take you through the alphabet of training. We also do rehab, ankles, back, knees, shoulders. The older we get, the more fragile we are. So those things that I just mentioned, those are things that we're definitely going to need help with. That's what we specialize in here at Fly Fitness. Come and join us.
How do you see the current market right now? You mentioned, some of the 5 boroughs. You're obviously here on Long Island as well. How do you see the current market as it stands?
It's just a shortage of properties is what it is. But I think that every market is the right market for you to buy. The right day to buy a house is today. Because tomorrow the prices are going to keep going up. When people say that the interest rates are too high, well, if you're renting, you're paying 100% interest because that money is never, you're never going to see the benefit of that money. So I always tell people it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter the rate right now. Just get into the house that you can afford, that you can buy. And then we'll figure it out. And then you can refinance. And then when the interest rates go down, there's other things that you can do. You can find another program, something that's better suited. But I always think that today is the day to buy a house.
And do you find that there's a certain level of convincing that needs to be had, even to those? I mean, if they're going to the first-time home buyer seminar, they have to be somewhat leaning into the concept of home ownership. Do you feel like there is some convincing that still needs to happen?
I think it's just information that has to be given. Right? Because once they come to a seminar, it's because they're already thinking, maybe, possibly, perhaps, I'll be able to do this. Maybe not today, maybe next year, maybe in 2 years. So I think that it's not so much convincing, it's just giving them the information that they need to go forward. Now, there are people that right now won't qualify, right? They won't qualify. Maybe the credit score is too low, but I work with lenders that will work with the people, right? So they'll guide you. They'll hold your hand for 6 months, a year, or however long it takes, so that they can help you improve your credit score. And then they can help you. Then we can take the next step into the home buying process. Because a lot of people just don't know. I will tell you, I grew up, my parents are immigrants. I'm from the Dominican Republic. My parents did not know about credit score. That wasn't something that was taught in my house. Savings and 401k and things like that. It was not something that my parents told me because they didn't know. So another thing that I like to do is I like to educate younger people just so that they can know how to start saving so that they can eventually get to buy a house.
Right. We all have those stories of like, if I knew then what I knew now, right?
I can tell you.
and those of us who have gone around the sun a few times, the ability to share with the next generation what needs to happen, maybe to help them to avoid some of the pitfalls that we did, right? I mean, that's what life is about in some ways.
I tell my children, they're adults now, but I try to to educate them, and I tell them in a blink of an eye, you'll be ready to retire.
It's so true.
And they think I'm depressing, but it's not. I don't want to depress them. I don't want to bring them down, but it's a reality.
Right. It's those statements though that when they get there, they'll say,
My mom was
Mom
right."
was right. Mom was right. Dad
Yeah.
was right. It's so important. And when you are in a profession like ours, and you are meeting kind of the bright-eyed, young folks, especially when they're being told that, it may not be possible for them, and showing them that it's possible, you have the ability to step in and fill in some of those gaps. Because, I can think, even you mentioned your childhood, that there was things that you didn't know when
Right.
you had to learn.
The hard way.
Yeah. And I think that's a real rewarding part as well, is the education piece. By the time somebody gets to you, are there some things that you, not in every case, but that you wish they would have done? Like how would somebody prepare to be able to have most things in line to be able to allow you to help with the most seamless transaction as possible?
Well, by the time like I said, by the time they come to me, they already have chosen a program to go into. They've chosen the house, but still, people need. Some people come to me without an inspection. They haven't done an inspection, right? And I tell them, and they tell me, "Well, the house is as is." I understand that. I said, but just for your purposes, so you can know that in 5 years you're going to need to replace that roof, right?
Right.
Or in 2 years you need to do something, just so you could know, so you can start budgeting.
Do you feel like they're trying to save the cost of the inspection?
Yeah, I think
or-
that they're trying to save the cost, because since they're buying it as is anyway,
Right.
they're like, why spend the $500-$700?
I think the danger sometimes is you want the house. I mean, real estate is a very emotional transaction sometimes, especially when you are, you've got a spouse that really wants it, and the kids are thinking, you're talking school districts, you're talking all these things, and it's like almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it cognitive dissonance, where you don't want to know? Is that
Well,
the
you
right
don't want to
term?
know, right?
You
rather
don't
not
want to know, but
right.
that could be very, very costly, right?
So I said, we're not going to ask for anything. Some people say it may anger, the seller, and I don't want to lose this house. I get it, but I know a lot of attorneys, so it's a conversation to be had with the sales attorney. Listen, they just want to go in. They just want to know. We're not going to ask for anything. We just want to be able to go in there just so that they can know what they have to budget for in the future. I mean, I think that that's something that's reasonable. And most of my attorneys, I haven't really had any attorney tell me no, because, I'm telling you, we're not going to request for anything. The contract is signed already. My clients, they just want to know.
Right, but on the flip side, that if you find a major foundational issue, or if you find an infestation of black mold or something like that, I mean, that's a pretty important find, right?
Yeah, so we will move forward. We will move forward with those. I've had
Right.
a couple of deals where I had a couple, they were in love with this house, and they didn't do an inspection. It was a pretty expensive house. So I said, you have to go and do the inspection. They signed the contract. I had the down payment and everything. But when they went, they were like, no, there's major foundation issues in this house. So I was able to help them, and I get it that it's the house that they wanted. And they were very disappointed, but they were happy that they did it, and I was able to save them a lot of money.
Yeah, what's the alternative? Something that you're super excited about can turn into a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
That, quite frankly, without a major investment, you're going to have a hard time
Correct.
exiting from that property itself. So that's
Yeah, I've had clients on the flip side that have not listened to me, don't get the inspection, and they move into the house, and then within a month, there's major issues.
Do you have any scenarios that you could share with us?
Yeah, so I have this one couple, they wanted this house. This house was a mess. But she wanted the house because it's where she wanted to be.
Sure.
I was kind of advising her, I can't tell her not to buy it, but I was saying, but look at the cost. She did have an architect. She was in contract. She had an architect that went in there and gave her a price. It was pretty high. Are you sure you want to do it? Yes, she wanted to do it. We did no inspection. She bought the house. The sewer backed up. It was so many issues because it was an older house that had been vacant for 2 years by the water. then she discovered that the house had flooded. There was mold behind the walls. It just went on and on and on and on.
Wasn't there an 80s movie like that where Tom Hanks moved into...
Oh, yeah, the Money Pit? The Money Pit,
yes.
yes.
That was it.
Where he sold Care Bears or something.
Oh, yeah, that movie. I got to go back and watch that again.
That was a funny movie.
It's funny. It's funny when it's a movie, but it's
Correct.
not. It's not funny when it's real life, right?
Because now, where are you going to get this money from? A lot of first-time home buyers don't have that extra money. So they're buying the house and you know, they're budgeting for the closing and, you know, the mortgage payments. And that's it. And if you have an expense of $50,000, what are you going to do? Where are you going to get that money from?
Right. And a lot of buyers are coming in and maybe overextending themselves a little bit just because of market conditions, whether it be the rates, whether it be cost of housing in general. And again, we're not trying to deter anybody from it at all, but this is, I think you would agree, why you want to have a professional in your corner. Everything that you've said so far is not just moving paperwork from one place to another. It's also someone like yourself being an advocate for them.
Because another thing that's happening now is, you know, you get into a bidding war, and now you're paying $100,000 over asking.
Right.
Right? And then when the contract comes in, you're waiving appraisal, right? Because you know that the house was listed at $600, you offered $700. And when I explain that to the clients, I'm like, so do you have that extra $100,000 to bring to the table?
Sure.
Oh no, I don't have it. They get caught up in the moment of the whole bidding war.
Not realizing too that the lender is going
Correct.
to want that gap covered.
Correct.
You know, the lender's
Correct.
not going to necessarily. I mean, there are different programs if there's projects involved, but for the most part, the lender's not going to take the risk on that additional
Right.
100,000. You've got to.
I'm like, do you have that money? Do you have that cash laying around? They're like, no. Well, then this is not the contract for you because you're waiving appraisal.
Right.
Are you a homeowner who is looking to expand your home so you have enough space for everything you need in your home? Or do you want to renovate because the interior just doesn't work for your needs anymore? Or are you someone who's looking for a property, but nothing that you've been looking at really fits what you need? Well, my name is Catherine Serrano Sosa. I'm the founder of Rooted Architecture Studio, and I can help you bring those renovations and adjustments to life. At Rooted Architecture Studio, we focus on creating meaningful, inclusive, client-centric designs for homeowners and investors. We walk you through the whole process of designing construction and making sure that you understand what's going on, but take away all the layers so you can sit back and just focus on the deliverables of what we're designing. We make sure that your non-negotiables are integrated and your wants and needs are integrated to the best of our abilities. So if you are looking to do anything that I just discussed, or just have ideas that you might want to talk about what the possibilities may be, give us a call and reach out through social media as well, and we'll be happy to help you. And if you're looking for a new property, make sure to connect with Dream Select Realty. They're the right people to help you find the right property for you and make sure that your needs are integrated. Or if we're renovating, we can all collaborate together to bring that vision to life.
What are some other ways that a real estate attorney could help a potential home buyer or even a seller, avoid maybe some unforeseen challenges?
Well, with my sellers, I always tell my sellers to get an inspection before they list the house.
Ah, okay.
So that's something that I like my sellers to do. Most of them do it. They listen to me and they do it. Do your own inspection. See what's wrong with the house, what's going to come up. Because if it's something that you can fix beforehand, then whenever your buyer comes and does an inspection, everything is okay.
Right.
Or if there's something major, right, like a foundation issue, the roof is collapsing, then you can adjust your price, or just in the contract, we're going to add that these are the issues and that you're taking it as is, but they know what they're getting into.
Right.
We don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste time and send out a contract, get it, partially executed, and then an inspection comes in and they're like, oh no, these are the issues that are happening.
Yeah, that's not ideal for anyone. And you could have a perfectly good deal on the table that if there was disclosure prior, then the buyer would consider that. But once you're dealing also, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but with buyers that sometimes have multiple opportunities on the table
Correct.
before they, want to move forward. And, if it's between, the house on Main Street and the house on Crescent Street, and all things are equal, and then you have even a relatively minor unforeseen circumstance that could
Swing.
delays or swing the transaction, right?
Yeah, of course, for sure.
So your advice is to just get the inspection, right? And
Get the
then
inspection. Get the inspection. I think the inspection. If you're selling, get the inspection. If you're buying, get the inspection. Just so you can know what you're selling and then what you're buying.
That makes perfect sense. Any other advice that you would give? I mean, since it's great that you do the seminars, I think education is so huge, and I believe also first-time home buyers. You think of somebody who's never bought a home before, but it's really those who haven't bought a home in
Correct.
3 years, right?
3 years, right?
So would you say that that programs that are available to those who have never owned a home are also available to those who haven't bought in 3 years or less?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, there's different ways. I've had co-borrowers on a loan, but they weren't really the ones making the payments for the mortgage. And I believe after 6 months or a year, all they have to show is that the payment never came out of their account, and then they'll be able to purchase a home.
Okay.
But now I'm stepping into the loan officer's shoes. And
Sure.
I tell people, stay in your lane. Everyone has to stay in the lane. But I have been at this for a while, so I know some of the tricks that you can do.
Concerning your practice as well, what are some other things that set you apart, or some areas that you specialize in that you'd want to share today?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because there's a lot of things. In my office, we're aggressive. So we will get things done and things done right. We're also very informative, where we will sit and speak to our clients and let them know exactly what they're getting into. We're not going to gloss over anything. And I think that sets us apart from other people. I have a client right now where she's in contract to buy a house. The pipes burst in January. No one knew about it, so there was water in the basement for all these months.
When you say no one knew about it,
Because the house was vacant.
The house was vacant. Okay.
And
that makes sense.
the owner lives in Canada. So when she went for the walkthrough, they found this. So I told her, don't buy it. I said, you can't buy this house. There's mold behind the walls.
That's not always an easy conversation, right?
Yeah, she wants to buy it.
Sure.
She wants to buy it. She's going to buy it anyway.
Oh, she's going to buy it still? Okay.
But I did my job, I think. I sat her down. We've had multiple conversations. I don't want to scare you. I get it. This is the house that you want. It's 2 blocks from your daughter. I get it. But this is going to be a problem for you. So, but she wants to proceed, so we will proceed.
Sure.
But I did give her the information that she needed.
What's another story, maybe a favorite over your time in real estate
I've had so many.
I mean, one let's kind of close out with a feel good story. Somebody who, maybe went through the process seminar. I don't want to pigeonhole you into anything,
right.
but one where you could say when the keys were handed over, job well done.
Yeah, I mean, I represent a lot of first-time home buyers. Also, a lot of my clients are minorities. That's my niche. And it's so good to see someone, come here from another country, work hard for 10 years, and then accomplish their goal. That is really so satisfying to me. And they're at the closing table and they're crying. They come with the whole family,
Right.
Uncles, aunts, grandparents, and they're just. It is a very rewarding feeling when you are there and you're handing over the keys to these people, and they attain the American dream, because everyone can do it. It just needs discipline and time, but you can do it.
Awesome. Well, I thank you for joining us today. It was a great conversation. How could our audience get in touch with you to help them with their transaction?
Okay, so if you have any questions, I'm open also to answering any questions. I love to educate. You can call me at the office. It's 517-2340. My office is in Westbury. We're at 1400 Old Country Road. I have two fabulous paralegals, Jacelyn and Ashley. And if I'm not around, if I'm out educating somebody, they're there to answer the phones.
Awesome. Olivia, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
And thank you for tuning into the Dream is Real podcast. Remember, don't forget, like, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Keep coming back as we keep bringing you great content. If you want to follow us, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Dream Select Realty, on X at Dream Select Home. If you want to be a part of the program, email us at hometeam@dreamselectrealty.com. Don't forget, the dream is real.